Hey, what's going on, guys? Caleb, Jim, and Ryan here for another kind of business bits section of our Doors to Deals podcast. Today, what we wanted to do is go over our kind of how we run our whole business. So last year we got to over 600 deals, and how you scale is you get organized with like the meeting structures and the flow of how you do things. So we just want to kind of open the doors up and share with you how we're doing it and how we're organized and how we run our business. So hopefully you can take some nuggets away and help you grow your own business by doing some of the same things that we're doing. So Caleb, are you able to share your screen, buddy?
Yep, I got it pulled up now. So what we do is what's called the level 10 meeting. And this is one of the my favorite things of coming to Three Doors when I partner with Ryan and Jim, that every aspect of our business we structure around running what we call a level 10 meeting. So here we pulled up one-on-one, me, Ryan, and Jim do. So this is a weekly like coaching call, kind of catch up to put into context for these meetings. These are not really coaching calls, but they're structured meetings in the business when we need to solve problems. We structure our coaching calls a little different, and then our team sales meetings a bit different as well. We can do other episodes on those too. So, Jim, this is probably your favorite part of the meeting. We start every meeting off with the segue. Why is it important to spend 1 minute doing this, and what is it?
Yeah, so it's rapport, it's connecting, it's sharing wins, and we actually added some of this, guys, just for a reference. Some of this that we do is from EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. Some of it we've gotten from other places and whatnot. I kind of have our own Three-Door spin on it. It takes a little bit of time to sync up, and when you're in a meeting, you're really hoping to achieve like a mastermind effect where everybody's brains are synced up and working together and thinking together and trying to solve problems and have the most effective meeting possible. Well, the way our brains are wired, you just need a little bit of time to like kind of get to that connection. And it's a good way to, by sharing wins and just connecting on a personal level, it's a really a good way to do that and build a teamship and camaraderie. So this takes us normally anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, just depending on how many people are in the meeting and how much we have to share for the week.
I think it's important to always share wins, even if they're small ones, because gratitude is so important. The next thing we go into is our mission, vision, and our 10-year target. We also have our unique marketing or community outreach. It is not on this one, but it's in others. So what do you think is so important, Ryan, about kind of going over the mission and vision on every single meeting?
Yeah, I mean, it's just reminding us every single week, every single meeting, what we're there for, so it's the macro picture, if you will, so that we're getting into all the nitty gritty. And then every time we repeat that at the start of the meeting, it allows us to really understand and remind ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. And the one thing I'd like to recommend, hey, we're talking about meetings. It's so not fun. And you have to have them. So while this may not be the most exciting, or as Jim likes to call a sexy topic, it is a really, really vital one to have a good business, one that can communicate.
And Ryan, you were your first 5+ years or so as we were doing things, you were kind of anti-meeting, right? So walk me through like how you used to feel about meetings and how you feel about them now. I've never asked you that question, so I want to know.
It's fun working with someone for so long, then they interrupt you all the time.
I thought you were done talking. How are you not done talking?
Not quite.
There?
It was close.
Oh shit.
So it's okay. All right. So anti-meeting to now proponent of meeting. Well, it's been an evolution, right? So the evolution is when you're in your business and doing almost everything from under contract to close, like meetings stink because it's like, hey, I got so much stuff to do. I don't want to be slowed down by a meeting. And as you grow, as you try to organize, the meetings are vital for you to, what I was about to say was communicate at the highest level. And so in order for us to communicate, these meetings are vital for that because we have so many different divisions, so many different people. The only way that we can communicate effectively, and what I mean by effectively is not just person to person, but like division to division, and in a timely manner, it's through these types of meetings, because we just don't have enough time to communicate with every single person like we used to. So that's why meetings are so vastly important. It helps time when they're structured appropriately. You get so much more done in a meeting that's structured appropriately than you could just in the business do.
Yeah, and the tool that we're using, guys, for this, it's free. It comes with Microsoft Teams. It's called Planner. For those of you listening in and want to know that, I think we skipped over that. Okay, so Caleb, as far as reviewing the scorecard,
So
what are we doing there?
I have a sample just real quick of our scorecard. So every division reports on 3 to 5 metrics that you can measure the health of that division. So each of our divisions report on those. They're asked tough questions around those. If they're hitting their numbers, great. If you're not, why aren't you? And then should we move this to an IDS? The other thing is we look over company revenue. Sadly, I'm not going to show that to you guys today. I know probably some of you thought maybe we would, but we're not showing that. Just a couple snippets of what our scorecard there was. Remember, 3 to 5 components of each division in your company. Have your goals set, check them monthly, quarterly, and weekly. And if you're not hitting them,
we'll go over what IDS means and what we do there in a little bit. Okay, so then we go over like the company's rocks and like what the goals are, what each of our divisions is working on, and what we're trying to achieve. And it's really very simple. We just say done or not done on a rock. So, go ahead, Caleb.
I wanted to pull up one. What's really important about these is to have dates to accomplish the rocks. So set a checklist of when that is. So this is our lead generation rock. This is one that I'm running right now. It's really, really important to have dates of when to complete those by, because if not, you're going to wait till the end of the quarter and then it's never going to get done. Rocks are so important. When I first came over, I was like, this kind of seems silly. Now seeing what we get done each quarter through rocks, and every single person that is an operation person on your team or leader on your team should have their own unique rock.
Yeah, and so then there's as far as an effective meeting goes, a lot of times you'll see people just talking. Then it's like, man, why this is a waste of time. Like, why are we doing this? Like, we're not getting anything done. So this structure, why it's so powerful, is we have long-term rocks, long-term goals for the company for the quarter, and there's accountability on it. Are you making progress or are you not? And if you're not, you're stuck. Okay, well, let's IDS it. And again, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And so there's an actual task-oriented, getting stuff done section to these meetings. That's incredibly powerful. Okay, so then what's the next?
The one difference between this structure of this meeting that we're showing you here and a normal meeting we do, which I didn't want to show you our other ones because we have stuff that is obviously private. We have the cast questions here. These are our one-on-one coaching questions. We could probably do another meeting on that. What we do for a normal meeting with our directors is our customer employee headlines. This is a time when any leader of the company shares a headline of if employee is struggling, if an employee is doing great, if there was a bad customer, if there was a great customer. It's a really good time to have an open conversation to let every leader in the company know, here's what's going on, here's what happened. That way we're all in touch. We know where everybody's at. And this is important even for like your small sales teams to know when you're having good customers, you're having bad customers. Did you get good feedback, bad feedback? But that's not currently on here. So after that, we go to to-dos, which Jim, you want to talk about to-dos?
To-dos, yeah. So this is the accountability portion of it, right? So when we have a meeting and we're brainstorming what solutions are needed to a problem we're encountering, we'll enter a task like Jim okay, what are you doing? Jim to talk about to-dos. Okay, there you go. And on the task, you really need to make sure we have a due date. And we like to keep these to-dos within 1 week of being able to be completed. Every now and then we have some that are a little bit longer, but that we like to have them within 1 week be able to be done. If they're a longer project, then it's okay. Maybe that could be a rock. But the goal of this is to actually get some traction and be getting things done. So Jim to talk about the to-dos. Okay, well, so then when it's this section of the meeting, Ryan normally runs this section of the meeting. So Ryan, why don't you go ahead and do this kind of the way you would normally do it?
Well, it's just running down the to-dos. We have a fair amount of them on a week-to-week basis. One of the things I'd recommend during this is if it's a to-do that is more than 2 weeks, it's probably not a to-do, meaning it's probably more of a rock. This section is designed for things that are a week to 2 weeks so that we can get them knocked off the list. So in this particular instance, I just asked Jim if it's done or not done.
Okay, and in this case, I say done. We just talked about it, so this is done. Okay, so that's 1 out of 1 right now. And then Caleb, did you have the Caleb Jason handoff meeting?
We have not yet had the handoff meeting.
Oh, and now this was done on 7/25. When are you? Does this need to be an IDS? What's going on with it, man?
We just got to get this on Jason's calendar. He's busy, so just waiting on Jason. So it's those tough questions about why didn't this get done? What's going on? Why hasn't this been completed? Are really, really important to hold that accountability. Everyone rises and falls with accountability. The higher accountability you have, the more likely you're going to get people to get stuff done.
Absolutely. So Caleb, you're 2 days overdue. Can we trust that you guys get this done by next meeting a week
Absolutely.
from today?
Yep.
Okay. So why don't you adjust the new due date for it? Okay. And so then what we do is we tally the to-dos, right? So in this case, we got 50% of our tasks done, which isn't very good. Like the goal is to be, to be 90% or above is really the goal of what we try and do. There's weeks, guys, where honestly, there's weeks where we're 50% done. Then there's weeks where we have just done amazing things and we're over 90%. So it's going to ebb and flow with sometimes stuff just happens, right? So we have to kind of make judgment calls there. But so 50%, okay, but guys, that's not that great. We'll have to impact. This will impact the rating of the meeting when we're done with it. Okay. So what's the next part, Caleb?
The next part is IDS. So the first part of this meeting should take anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes. We structure this as an hour and a half. We don't go over an hour and a half, ideally. So everything we've been through takes about 45 minutes. And then we spend 45 minutes on IDS. This is where everyone brings the biggest problems in our company, the things they're struggling with. And IDS stands for Identify, Discover, and Solve. Is that correct?
Discuss and solve.
Solve. Sorry. So this is one IDS we've been working on. We're doing a subject to class and building out some more classes for us to teach. But anything that's going on among, like, say, we want to talk about mortgage rates. They're getting ready to rise again. Jack might bring that up, and then we'll discuss mortgage rates, how we can adjust, keep our business growing even with mortgage rates rising.
Well, and the part of this that's important, so this is really like the mastermind portion of it, right? So at this point, everybody's adding things in. The goal is to not say things more than once. I'm guilty of this a lot. But anything is if you start saying things more than once, you're kind of just politicking and trying to kind of persuade everyone else in the room. So really the goal is like, I think about my dad a lot. Dad, if you're listening in, I think about you when we do meetings, apparently. When I do this, because like my dad would always drive my mom absolutely crazy. Every time it was time for us to leave, all of us kids would hop in the car and he'd be out picking weeds. And he'd be picking weeds. Why he did it before we had to leave, I don't know. That's a mystery that only he can tell you about. But what he would say over and over again, the thing about picking weeds is if you take your time and you pick the weed where the entire root system comes out, it's solved forever. You're not going to encounter that problem again. You're not going to encounter that weed again. If you try and pick it very quickly and the root doesn't come out, guess what's going to happen? It's going to take a week or two or whatever. However, I don't know. I'm not a weed expert. I don't know how long it takes for weeds to grow, but it's going to just go right back in. And then guess what? You're picking weeds again, and you're picking that same weed again. And if you don't solve the root cause of the problems you're having in your business, it can be the same thing as having an entire garden, an entire bed full of weeds. Hey there, if you're looking to get the ultimate edge for your real estate investing company, go to dorsdeals.com/invest for more information. Just so you know, a high percentage of the people that we interview on this podcast are actually already Three Doors Network members. And our network members have a lot of extra resources. They have access to an online training vault with over 3 years worth of content in it. They have access to vendor savings like our Home Depot discount that's literally saved thousands of dollars for members. And we have a weekly group coaching call, and we have a lot of other great things as well as part of the Three Doors Network. So make sure that you check it out on doorstodeals.com/invest. And if you don't solve the root cause of the problems you're having in your business, it can be the same thing as having an entire garden, an entire bed full of weeds. And then all of a sudden you can't see clearly, you've lost control of your business, and you don't know how to kind of get that momentum going forward. So that's what IDS is all about. It's discussing and identifying what is the root cause of the problem, and how do we fully solve it, right? So as far as mortgage rates go, Caleb, you put that on there.
Hold on. Not lost in this story is the fact your dad consistently picked weeds before you guys wanted to leave, thus creating another problem. So IDS at times can create more problems.
Yeah, maybe we should IDS this and my mom's frustrations with them over the last 40 years of marriage or whatever it's been. But
picking weeds before we leave.
Sidebar.
Sidebar.
Lindsay always accuses me of when we're getting ready to go on like a trip or something or do something like that. That's when I too choose to do like a random cleaning. Oh no. It's whenever we're having a party, I seem to want to clean something similar to your dad, like something that you could have done, a week ago. But no, right before a party.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So a couple things. It's really important to have whoever brings the IDS up is also the person that says when it's solved. So there'll be times when other people feel it's solved, but maybe the person brought the problem does it. They're the ones who ends that note and says that this issue solved, we can move on. And no politicking is really, really important. I would say it takes about 90 days of doing this every week at the same time to get people into a really good groove of IDSing. I know that sounds like a long time, but these meetings take a long time to learn and practice, and you'll get better. Anytime we set up a new division or a new structure or we bring new people in, it almost always takes 90 to 100 days for them to really get dialed in these meetings.
Okay, so
I want to add something real quick to what you just said, which was the on the IDS, making sure whoever's supposed to be monitoring or moderating the meeting, make sure that they circle back to that person. It's something that we actually, I think, can improve upon a lot and don't do as good a job of as we can or do. And that is making sure, like you said, emphasize whoever brought the issue up. Do they have enough information so that once enough has been discussed, it's cut off? It's done. It's over with. We can move on to the next thing because there are important things. And just because you have an opinion on it doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be heard.
Absolutely. So why don't we let's close the loop on this IDS, guys. So if mortgage rates was one of them. So Caleb, you brought this issue to the table. Tell me about like what's going on with this mortgage rate issue, dude.
Yeah, so rates are going up. I think 0.75 of a point at the end of this week is what it's actually tomorrow, I've heard. And it's getting tough to bring buyers, getting tough to get buyers closed. We just want to make sure that our business is not going to slow down, and we're going to actually do more units and grow this year, even when rates are getting tougher and it's getting harder to sell homes.
Okay, so obviously we can't control like the mortgage rates and that they're going up. What do you think? What are some options of when they go up? What are some options of what we can do?
Yeah, I think it's important to like have an idea of when they're going to go down. So if we could do some research and studies of, kind of get data in front of our clients of when are rates going to come down so they can refinance and show people why buying at a higher rate might be a better idea because you can refinance in 1 or 2 years. So something along those lines, I think would be great if we could spend some time and put together a little pamphlet that just shows how rates go in ebb and flows and why they might get a better deal because there's less buyers right now.
So, and does the mortgage rates matter, or does the person's like situation is that and like their headspace and mindset around it? Is that what matters? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I think someone's situation matters exactly, and it's just educating them on why it's still a good time to buy.
Yeah, so like a little sidebar on this topic, the exit strategy is everything. If you're buying a home that you want to live in for 10, 20, 30 years, you might, you certainly can probably negotiate and get a better deal than you were 6 months ago before the interest rates went up. Or how many months has it been? Has it? I may have misspoke there, but like the exit strategy is important. So to me, like what's potentially solves this is what do you guys think? Is it, do we need to think through like some of the right strategies and talking points that we're going to have with clients? Would that help solve it and help us not have our business slow down? What do you guys think?
Absolutely, yeah. If we came with the right data and the right way to educate our clients, I think it would help us out a lot.
And granted, we only want to do business when it's a win-win, right? Like, so we need to identify who the right people are, because like mortgage rates could impact and have it not be a good move for somebody, but we can help be the fiduciary and give them the right proper advice. So anyway, so let's just say
Do
like,
we need scripts and role play on this?
Yeah, so exactly right. I love where Ryan's head's at. So, okay, then let's say, scripting and role playing that's the solution we've all agreed to, that if we do that the right way and we have we talk to the right people who it does make sense for them to move, right? That solves it. So we say, okay, that solves this potential risk to our company. What tasks do we now need to create? What to-dos do we need to do to actually not have just had a meeting that was all about talk, but have a meeting that's getting things done and kind of getting us to a result? Okay. So mortgage rate scripts and role play. Okay. Who's going to lead this? Caleb, are you okay with being in charge of this?
Yep.
Okay. And you can get it done by 8/1. Okay, great. So we established the date. We established the person who's in charge for getting it done, the due date for when it's going to get done. And then what's the cool thing? We know next week, we meet every week. Next week, he's going to be held accountable. He's going to know, shoot, did it get done or not? So we have the accountability even baked into it too. So that's really, the structure that's helped us scale to over 600 deals. We've never been more well run than we are now. There's been a lot of ebbs and flows. We've done things wrong a lot of different ways, but this is the best thing that we've came up with. It's heavily modeled on the EOS systems with some of kind of our own spins on it. So Ryan, any kind of closing thoughts on this structure? Caleb, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so it's the last thing I would say, it's important to rate the meeting, and we keep a tally of our meeting ratings. So like we know, like, look, this week was kind of a rough meeting. It's probably bad weather or something, who knows? But like this week was a really good meeting, bunch of 9s, 9.1. And we're actually incredibly strict on our scores. We rate it somewhere through a 1 through 10. A 10 hardly ever happens. That's a perfect meeting. But we do see a lot of 9s, 9.5s. And then we have meetings where we have 7s. But it's important to keep track of that, see how you're doing and see how you're growing.
Well, yeah, the team gives me troubles because I don't believe the 10's possible to exist. So I'm like normally a little bit lower than everybody, because I really do it at 0 through 9. But yeah, we have a little fun with that. Everyone.
But yeah, I think it's incredibly important to follow some type of structure. This is a structure that works best for us. Check out EOS. They're the ones, and we've kind of modeled after that. So I love it. It helps us solve a lot of problems. Accountability is extremely important in any business if you want to be successful.
Yeah, and I would absolutely do this, by the way, even if it's just 2 people in an organization. Would you guys do this if it was just you, if you're a solo company? I haven't actually thought about that. Like, would you try and go through a setup like that?
You have to have some way of keeping yourself accountable. If it's just you and you're a one-man show, some way you got to track your to-dos and you got to have somebody hold yourself accountable. So either a coach or a mentor you do this with, I think.
So one of the value adds with this too, within this structure is the only way you get up to like the 600 deals like we have is by not just something comes up, then, oh my gosh, hey, Ryan, I got to talk to you. Do you have a minute? And then something else comes up. It's like an efficiency time blocking play too. Some things came up. Is it a fire that needs to get addressed right now, or can it wait? Okay, it can wait. There's a time and place. Once a week, I work on things like this. So like I would so as I'm thinking this through, I would absolutely even do it just as a solopreneur, because you'd be time blocking and addressing issues like this that are important, maybe not always urgent, to help your business kind of grow to the next level and not be all over the place. Because like by grouping it all together in one headspace, I mean, I bet you we eliminate like 100 conversations throughout the week with all the team members that we have, just knowing that, hey, no, once a week, this is when we talk about things like this.
When done right, I would agree with you. And we still, and we've done it for years, and we still have room for growth.
Well, and there's times where something's a little more urgent than waiting 4 business days for something, right? So like, yeah, we're not perfect at it, but I mean, it certainly helps you get a lot more done. This is one of the keys to being organized and executing at a high level. So, and then part of the rating, guys, just so you know, like I'm going to rate this meeting as a 7 out of 10. And the reason I'm going to do it is we only got 50% of our tasks done. So we need to do better for that next week. So anyway, so that's my ADD coming in, a last little minute thing. But then, yeah, you kind of build in that, like, hey, we have an execution culture. We get stuff done. This isn't just about talking. This is about getting stuff done and trying to help people out and build a great company. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for tuning in, guys. We are signing off here. We'll see you again next time.
It's the bits, baby. Additional resources, go to doorsthedeals.com/099. If you're looking to grow your investment income, email me at cdavis@3doors.com. And finally, never give up.
Thanks for tuning into this show. For more episodes and resources that will unlock Doors to Deals, check out our website, doorstodeals.com.